Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report with Alpari. So let's start this week with finding some decent trading occasions, but obviously first we need to look at the calendar because we need to know what is going to happen today. Yesterday we got PMIs from US which came slightly better than expected. Today we got interest rate decision from Australia which remained unchanged, and also CPI from Switzerland which came slightly better than expected. What we still have today: factory orders from US, and I have a purchasing managers index PMIs from Canada. Tomorrow we have to watch for GDP from Eurozone and the rate statement from Canada. But the most important thing right now are trade wars. Yes, we are in the middle of the trade wars. We got an escalation of that recently. So Trump announced steel and aluminum import tariffs. After that, Jean-Claude Juncker, European Commission President, he said that the bloc Eurozone, European Union, is prepared to respond quickly by targeting imports of Harley-Davidson motorbikes, Levi-Strauss jeans, and bourbon whiskey, well, most of them being Jack Daniels. From US, and well, after that Trump announced that it's very easy for the US to increase the tax for cars. That's what Donald Trump said. If the European Union wants to further increase their already massive tariffs and barriers on US companies doing business there, we will simply apply a tax on their cars, which freely pour into the United States. They make it impossible for our cars and more to sell there. Big trade imbalance. Well, with this trade imbalance, actually he is right, because this trade imbalance, US trade balance deficit with European Union, is on the lowest levels ever. Right? This trade imbalance is indeed very big. It has never been bigger. So if there is a time for trade wars, I think this is they have some foundations to talk about that. We will see if it will be cool down or escalate. We'll have an escalation of that, but well, with Donald Trump, we should see that again and again and again in the forthcoming future. So it's all about the trade wars right now. Luckily, most of the instruments move quite technically. Other than that, well, we're focusing on trade wars. Other than that, we don't have any important messages, important events from the fundamental side. So I think we can focus now on the technical analysis. Maybe let's start with the dollar index. Because what dollar index is having a false breakout above the horizontal resistance. They also broke the midterm uptrend line, and now what we have is unfortunately a sideways trend, which is the worst place to be. I don't like sideways trends. So as you can see, for the last 3 days, even those trade wars are not a problem for the dollar. From the technical point of view, what we have here is a false breakout above the horizontal resistance, then a breakout of the midterm uptrend line, and then a sideways trend locked in a pennant pattern. Pennant is a trend continuation pattern. Trend is bearish from here, so we should see the breakout of the lower line of this pennant and a movement towards 89.45 points. That is the most probable scenario for the dollar index. American dollar to Japanese yen, what we are having here is a normal downtrend, so the price making lower lows and lower highs. Price is making those lower lows and lower highs actually since middle of December. Most recently what we had here was a pennant, a bounce from the downtrend line, and price went sharply lower. This reversal that we are having now stopped on the first local resistance created by the lows from 26th of February. And the thing is that as long as we stay below the blue area, not even it's about the horizontal levels, but as long as we stay below the blue area, the sentiment here is negative. Bitcoin. Again, 11,200, it's too much again. So this yellow area is super important resistance. No buy signal will be created once the price will break the yellow area. I think we can adjust that line. So we are still in the neutral territory, and the price is moving according to the horizontal supports and resistances, right? Again, as long as we stay below 11,200, there is no buy signal, and sell signal will be created once the price will break, I think, green area, not even red one, but green. So $8,700 for one Bitcoin. And breakout of the yellow area actually drive the price towards 19,000 again. S&P 500. Europe defended crucial horizontal supports with a small help from Americans, because they are defending those two uptrend lines as well. So sentiment here remains positive and will be positive as long as we will stay above the green area. If we look on European instruments, they have the last chance to defend the bullish sentiment in the midterm. But S&P 500 and all the American indexes are in a much better shape. Situation on those indexes is looks way better than on European ones. But it all goes together. It's just the fact that European traders have the last chance, and American traders still have some space there. Like FTSE. False breakout above the horizontal resistance, downswing, sharp downswing. We remember the sell-off, and that reversal that we saw recently was just a wedge, which is a trend continuation pattern. So we were expecting more of a breakout of the lower line of the wedge, and that's actually what happened. Price tested the ultra important horizontal support again on 7,100 points and defended the support. And the thing is for FTSE that as long as we stay above the blue area, the long-term sentiment stays positive. But for me, from the price action point of view, there is no buy signal because we are below this resistance on 7,300, yeah, let's say 7,300 points. As long as we stay below, I don't have a buy signal. But breakout of this resistance will create a buy signal, because that will be a double bottom formation. And actually we will break 38.2 Fibonacci, as you can see here, which is a very important resistance. Usually it is a very important resistance. Australian dollar to Canadian dollar, I like this situation, I like this, and you know that because we were talking about this inverse head and shoulder formation, the price being locked in a sideways trend and aiming for parity. They finally got the parity and they went significantly higher, because many traders had their stop losses orders there above this resistance, and once those stop loss orders were activated, we got a massive upswing, very sharp uptrend. Actually, I would be interested in the impulse equality pattern, because I think that we are moving. Let me delete that. I'm wondering if this upswing, and just let me change the color. One more time. Okay. Well, I would say that this is exactly this. So look at that. This up wave had 304 pips, and this one has 300, so that's beautiful. But let's just make it wider. Okay, like that, and let me check it now. If we consider this, it's a good place for a reversal. So if we consider those impulses should be equal, it would be nice place to have a reversal. Now it does not mean a downtrend or anything. That would be just a normal test of the broken resistance. So here we had resistance, it got broken, so now it would be nice to test it as a support, especially that we would have an uptrend line here. So let's say movement like that, testing horizontal support and uptrend line would be more than welcomed. We will see what's gonna happen, but we have a chance for that. New Zealand dollar to American dollar, still defending this horizontal support. As long as we stay above this horizontal support, the sentiment is positive. And a breakout of this blue line will trigger us a buy signal. American dollar to Canadian dollar. I wrote an analysis about this instrument yesterday. It's beautiful, beautiful price action setup. Look at that, symmetric triangle formation, breakout of the upper line of the triangle, then bounce from 38.2 and from horizontal resistance, then bounce from the recent resistance from this downtrend line, breakout of the 38.2, and price closing here was a buy signal. And after that, after the buy signal was created, the price already went 230 pips higher. Now we have a confirmation of another buy signal, and because we broke the 50% Fibo and a resistance which was relevant in October, November and December. So we broke this. Now we should wait for a bounce and a movement towards 1.3230, yes, which is 230 pips from now. So again, we had a 230 pips occasion here so far, and we have 230 more. because I think the chances that the price will get there to this green area are relatively high. I think that's a sure bet. But obviously there are no sure bets on the market. Keep that in mind. But it looks quite promising. WTI defended horizontal support. Term horizontal support here on 60.1. I don't like the situation on WTI. It is not price swings are not, they don't look good for me, so I avoid oil now, but probably would like to know what's going on. Well, it's a positive sentiment. We are above major supports. As long as we are above major supports, it's all good. Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar. Unfortunately nothing. Well, there is a sell signal here, long-term sell signal, quite decent. There is a head and shoulder formation, breakout of the neckline. Neckline was tested here with a shooting star. We are below short-term resistance, so yes, there is a sell signal from on Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar. We have potential target here on the orange area, which makes it 360 pips trading occasion, which is quite right, I would say. It is it's always a risk worth taking, I would say. American dollar to Swiss franc. I'm waiting what's gonna happen here, because as long as we stay below the blue area, I'm telling you about the sell signal here. But at the same time, what we have here, there is a chance for the shoulder from inverse head and shoulder formation. Maybe it will not like exactly precisely like that, but what I draw here is a principle. So even if they will go there, it will still be inverse head and shoulder formation. So that's not exact trajectory of the price movements, but what I'm seeing here is a potential inverse head and shoulder formation. Anyway, there is no buy signal from inverse head and shoulder formation as long as we stay below the neckline, and the neckline is this black line here. So for the buy signal, we need to first see the breakout of this black line. Euro to British pound. Well, we did break this upper line of the, let's say, triangle or sideways trend, but we still did not break the horizontal resistance. For the proper buy signal here, I need to see the price closing above the blue area. I need to see the price closing a day. Price closing for a day above the blue area is a strong buy signal for me. Silver, sideways trend, unfortunately. Price being above this blue area is a relative sign of a strength, because in my opinion, as long as we stay above this blue area, there is no sell signal. Actually, there is no sell signal as long as we stay above the orange area, because this is an ultra important horizontal support. But the situation on silver is not so interesting. It was interesting here, but they got a bounce. The price is moving sideways. It's always better when we have a breakout, when we have a proper breakout. It's always more interesting. American dollar to Singaporean dollar. What we are having here is a sideways trend in a symmetric triangle. It will be a decent trading occasion once we will have a breakout. Once we will receive a breakout, we will have a nice trading situation here. So a breakout of the upper line of the channel up formation and upper line of the triangle triggers a buy signal. Breakout of the lower line of the symmetric triangle should trigger as the opposite, so the sell signal. New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar, that was a good one. We said about the buy signal here, the price respected. The price respects 23.6 Fibonacci levels from the very beginning. Breakout 23.6 as a support. 38.2 surprisingly wasn't so respected. It always is. But 50 was a resistance, then after the breakout it was a support. 61.8 was resistance, then after the breakout maybe it will be support, but the thing is that we should get the test of the pink line. It is very, very probable that the price will climb 70 pips more and will test this resistance. I would love to see this kind of a movement. Cable created correction equality pattern. That is beautiful. This correction is the same as this one. Look at that. This one starts here, finishes here. 630 pips. This one is 630 pips. Almost the same. And from the bottom we got 160 pips reversal. That is awesome. I think I wrote an analysis for cable as well. I think that the price can decline further to the horizontal support here and to the trend line. So we may get a drop like that. It would cancel the correction quality pattern, but actually this pattern worked. We already got a signal, buy signal for 160 pips from the correction equality pattern. So what else do you need? What else do you need? I think it's enough. So now the price can decline further, like bounce from this resistance, test this horizontal support, test this trend line, break the red line. Once it will happen, that would be just perfect. That would be marvelous buy signal. Now DAX. Again, I would like to mention the similarity between S&P 500, DAX and FTSE 100. FTSE defended horizontal support. Let me show you FTSE. Horizontal support on 7,100. DAX on 11,900. In DAX it was drop was a bit bigger, in FTSE it was lower, it was bigger the first time. So that's the difference, but the similarity is that we have a horizontal support, we had a drop, wedge, breakout, horizontal support. On DAX we got a proper buy signal on a daily chart, because look at that. And that is a bullish engulfing formation, and that is a proper buy signal. So actually, yes, there is a uptrend, there is a horizontal support, and the price creates on a daily chart bullish engulfing. And this is a legitimate, this is a proper buy signal on DAX. So it all looks good. I think it can give us a nice profit. So I'm not a big fan of going long on FTSE because what I'm missing there is this buy signal from the candlestick pattern. Euro to New Zealand dollar, as long as we stay below the yellow area, there is no buy signal. Buy signal will be created once the price will break the yellow area, which is quite probable. Euro dollar, not very interesting. There is this midterm horizontal resistance here. Here exactly. As long as we stay below the 123.60, sentiment cannot be fully positive. But breakout of the gray area will trigger as a buy signal. So as you can see on dollar index, this situation is not interesting. On euro dollar, the situation is not particularly interesting. So those trade wars between America and Eurozone are not affecting the markets. So yeah, it's a nice topic for the media because everybody loves to talk about Trump, everybody loves to talk about politics. But market, seems like market is ignoring that. Is not paying big attention towards that. We are waiting for more important data and more important things to happen. British pound to Japanese yen. I had a position there, but it got closed. There's a still, it got closed on profit, obviously. There is a still negative sentiment. We broke the lower line of the wedge. We broke the horizontal support, and actually now what is happening is the price testing the horizontal resistance, the previous support as a resistance. So far the test looks positive for sellers, negative for buyers. It is quite, if the day will close like that, it will be very, very decent selling opportunity. If the day will close like that, it will be a nice sell with very good risk to reward ratio. Because we do have a sell here, stop loss, for example 150 pips, potential take profit 700. Potential risk, great. Potential stop loss, small. But I do have still a position on gold. On gold I have a long position. Why? Simple as that. Upswing, breakout of the resistance, test as a resistance here, as a support here. Most recently this test was done with shooting with a hammer. So I have a support, I have a trend, I have a Fibonacci, I had a candlestick formation. Many factors pointing north. And that's what I'm waiting. And in the meantime, we are trying to force the horizontal support resistance here. We are above the blue, above the green area. I think I bought somewhere here. My stop loss is already on stop profit below this low. When we're gonna advance, if we're gonna advance, I'm just gonna pull my stop profit higher and higher. So I'm very happy with this trade on gold. We'll see how the situation will develop, but the thing is that on a daily chart and the long term, as long as we stay above the blue area, the sentiment is positive. And actually there is still a decent buy signal, maybe not as good as mine, because here you're risking $22 to gain $40. It's still decent. It's 2 to 1. If I bought somewhere here, I was risking $13 to gain 50, so it's much better. It's potential profit is 3 times bigger than the potential loss. So that's it for the daily analytical report on Tuesday. We got some nice trading setups. For rest of them we have to wait a little bit. Thanks very much for watching. Now we'll have half an hour break, and after that webinar about basics of the forex trading. So I hope to see you all there. Thanks very much and goodbye.